Hello, and welcome to a tutorial on how to use PSpice. PSpice is a simulation tool where we can build circuits and find important measurements. In this tutorial, I will discuss how to navigate to PSpice, a couple important options to toggle, how to place components and build circuits, and finally how to perform DC analysis. In order to navigate to it, head on over to your search bar. For your machine, the search bar may appear closer to the middle of the screen as opposed to the left side for me, but the process should be the same. Go ahead and type in Capture CIS and click the app indicated by this blue icon. Here you're presented with a very important decision. Please make sure to choose the second option denoted by with PSpice and CIS. Not choosing this option can lead to problems later on, so please make sure to do this in this lab and in subsequent labs. Once it is fully loaded up, we can now go ahead and create a new project. Your version of the software may look slightly different from mine, so to generalize the process, head on over to the File tab up here at the top, expand the new window and click Project. Title your project appropriately. I will call mine Tutorial. For the location, click the icon with the 3 dots and actually go ahead and create a new folder. I recommend calling this folder something like ECE 35 and whichever lab number you're working with for consistency. Create the folder and select it. Now all the projects for this session should be saved in this folder. You don't have to feel too attached to this folder as it is mostly temporary and we won't need you to access all their projects for future labs. Also double check that this option is enabled to make sure that our PSpice simulations are actually enabled. Now you're presented with another important decision to make. Make sure to create a blank project. This will also prevent certain issues later on. You should not have access to an empty schematic ready for you to build your circuit on. In order to add components to the schematic, head up here to the Place tab and expand on the PSpice component window. Here you can see every single circuit element that you'll ever need. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to build a simple circuit, a resistor connected to a voltage source. So let's go ahead and add the resistor. You can place the circuit elements wherever you want. As a tip, you can hit Control R to rotate and then left click to put them down. In order to get rid of the circuit element in your hand, you can hit Escape or hit right click and click End Mode. I'm going to go ahead and add the voltage source as well. Now that I have the elements in the schematic, notice there are two notable things here. There is the element's name and the element's value. To change the value, you can just double click on it. You should see this window pop up and you can change the value to whatever you want it to be. Now we must complete the circuit. In order to do so, we must wire them up. In order to find the wire, you can find it here in Place and click on Wire, or as shown here, you can also click W as a shortcut. I will wire the circuit as such. Now for the most important component in any circuit simulation, we must add ground. In order to do so, it is very similar to wire. You can find it in Place and click here, or hit G as a shortcut. Make sure to choose the first option that shows up, which is 0 captain. Hit OK, and then connect it to your circuit. To find measurements on the circuit, we must create a simulation profile. Head on over to the PSpice tab and create a new simulation profile. Name it appropriately. I'm going to call mine Sim1. Keep everything the same and hit Create. You should now see this window pop up. For DC analysis, let's go ahead and replace the analysis type to bias point. Hit Apply and then OK. You have now created a simulation profile, but we still need to run the simulation. There are a couple options to do that. First is to go through the PSpice tab and hit Run here. You can see that you can also hit F11. You can also navigate to the Run icon up here and click the button. These simulations are usually pretty fast, but you can check their progress by going on to the new window that just popped up. You can see that the simulation is running and now it is complete. Head on over to the original circuit, and you should now be able to see measurements on the circuit. If these measurements do not show up, it is possible that they are not toggled on. To toggle them on, head on over up here and click on these buttons. It is possible that your version of the software may have these icons look a little different, so I'll attach a picture of what they should look like for you. Lastly, now that we have simulated the circuit, let's take a look at how we might want to read voltage and current values from our schematic. Starting with voltages, these markers here indicate node voltages. Note that each marker is attached to its own respective node. To find a voltage difference across any element, you can simply subtract these node voltages from each other. For example, to find a voltage across the resistor on the left, with this given polarity, plus on top, minus at the bottom, the voltage difference is 5 volts on the plus side, minus 0 volts on the negative side, resulting in 5 volts. In terms of the current, PSpice follows its own convention such that the current is always flowing positively through the element starting from the current marker. I have attached arrows indicating how the current flows given the location of the current marker. And there you have it. You have built a circuit and ran a simulation through PSpice.